Hello, everybody. Welcome to SDC 19. Fortunately, last year I have been here to introduce other topic. So it's a great honor to be here to introduce today's topic. Okay, today's topic is how to become the Tizen-ready chipset. I'm not sure you have joined today's morning session. In keynote speech. There is a mention about this topic. So I'd love to tell you about in detail the technical details to you in this session. I am Charles Lim. I am project manager in Samsung in Suwon. I think it will take 30 minutes to complete this presentation. At the end of this session, there will be a question session. I hope you to be in front of that microphone and to give me a question in order for you to be in the YouTube. Okay, then let's begin. Before going into detail, I think it would be much better to understand the current status of Samsung sales figures and ecosystem. So let's talk about that first. Samsung TV is on sales in 197 countries around the world. Top ranked in the worldwide TV market for the 13th consecutive year. 44.3% market share over costing $2,500 market. And market share itself is reaching up to 54.4% for 75 inches and over 10. Then, what is Samsung Tizen TV? Basically, Samsung services, which I will explain later, and entertainment service are built on top of Tizen open source. That is what we call Samsung Tizen TV. Since we launched Tizen TV at 2015, Tizen TV platform has been evolved with these three key objectives. Powerful app ecosystem operated by industry leader, and new monetization opportunity is given. And simple and easy development for partner. Those are our three topics for the Tizen TV. So let's see about, in detail about the Tizen TV ecosystem. Now, we are actively working with around 1,000 Tizen ecosystem partners, including Netflix, Google, and Apple, and so on. And around 1,800 application is available in App Store. Most of our partners regard us as a first launching partner, as our TV volume itself is so large. Samsung services. So far, we are aiming at this kind of target. So providing best entertainment experience with various contents and ease of use. And driving user engagement for partner services on Tizen platform. And advertising with over 200 advertisement partners. So I'm not sure you can see that. So the detailed information about the advertisement is in there. So this morning session, there was an explanation about the TV Plus. So TV Plus is Samsung's board service. Actually, at the moment, the 72 channels are available in US market. So this is, once we have just the internet connection, the user can enjoy the content for free without no subscription. This is a universal guide. This is our portal service showing recommendation contents based on the user's behavior statistics. So you can see, you can find the relevant contents very easily through this universal guide. This is Bixby, Samsung's voice agent service. This is globally available, and 8 languages are supported for this Bixby service. Smart Things, this is also available globally. And I was told White Goods got #1 position for 12 consecutive quarters in US. Then what is next? This sentence came from this morning's keynote speech. So I will read out. To give you even more opportunities, we are preparing to make the Tizen TV OS and smart TV services available to other TV manufacturers. That is main objective of these sessions. Okay, then let's see the scope of collaboration between partner and Samsung. So, in principle, TV cores will be provided with the same level of the functionality as Samsung. But we have a kind of the small exception. For example, patent or intellectual property right and so on. Those kind of exceptions exist, but basically we want to provide similar functionality as us. Platform middleware and system software. This is describing the conventional software stack inside TV, right? As long as manufacturer is using Tizen-ready chipset, it would be much easier to make the Tizen TV from the manufacturer perspective. Application, basically we are providing most of the application to manufacturer, including menu and EPG, channel list, channel info, and so on. But we also provide app customization function. So if the manufacturer want to make their own application, then you can make and then put that into the TV. And if you want to replace the existing application with what you develop, then it is also possible. Service and ecosystem will be operated by Samsung. So those are just examples. Apps, payment, smart things, Bixby, T+, ad, and so on. Those are managed by Samsung. Technical support. Engineering support will be given to you once we have collaboration. So up to now, Samsung has been successfully establishing the app ecosystem with a partner. So it's time to expand to the SoC and TV manufacturer partner at the moment. So the solution would be PPI. What is PPI for? That stands for the platform porting interface. So the aim of that PPI is to separate the vendor-specific part and platform above here. So this will be provided by us, and vendor only need to port this part. So seeing the in-detail diagram of the PPI's composition, this slide, basically PPI module, we define this interface, and most of the associate vendor have its own hard and device driver. And basically, most of the vendors is using Linux driver. Looking at the RNR between the partner and Samsung. So blue box is Samsung's, and the other color is the vendor's responsibility. So as I told you, this will be provided to you. Basically, most of source code will be provided to you, but PPI is in this scope. So PPI itself has interface definition and implementation guideline. Then once we provide this interface, then manufacturer have to implement according to that guideline. And you can reuse our provided code as your reference implementation. This is typically vendors own the stack. This is the other requirement for you to make the Tizen TV. So basically, bootloader is your responsibility, this bit. And we provide the base kernel to you, then chip porting in kernel should be done by vendor. We provide the secure booting requirement, then vendor need to implement secure boot based on that requirement. We provide secure OS porting guidance, then you have to implement based on the guidance, and you can fill up the trust zone or secure OS. Then if you follow all, then I can say that is meeting the requirement to become the Tizen TV. So incremental development can be possible. This is, platform can be compilable and linkable and runnable without real implementation through default dummy behavior we provide here. And each interface module has its own thorough test suite, which can avoid integration hassle and enable systemically step-by-step porting. So this is the example. This was the HDMI, the implementation. This is product implementation. This is common. So this is a speaker implementation for common. This is the product implementation. So like you see, porting interfaces are separate and grouped for each functional module. So you can develop independently, and you can test independently as well. Product package is a combination of the product RPM and the PPI implementation RPM. So this is a common package. This is Samsung specific RPM. So like you see, HDMI control RPM, this is a common, this one. And this is the Samsung specific implementation. Then partner also share this common part, and then but only need to implement the relevant part to you. And with this combination, the TV can be made, like you see here. So it's much better to give an example. So each RPM has a spec file to specify dependency or requirement. For example, this HDMI, so itself is version 1.0, and this is implementation package, also version require, has a dependency with this 1.0. And once it is increased, the version is increased like 1.2, then this implementation is necessary, right? So in this case, there is no problem. This is a common part, and this is a product part. So there is no problem in the dependency between them. All of a sudden, the common part, the version is increased like 1.2, but in that case, there is a problem in here because, you know, it needs 1.0, but already it will change it. In that case, the implementation should be updated following this version. So from the development perspective, not an embarrassing, you know, the thousands of error can be avoided through systemic check. In Tizen, there are lots of the players. So to play back the broadcasting contents and play back the multimedia contents. This is a TV player, which I will explain later. This is the other type of player. So I will explain this later and this. So plus player is a kind of our downloadable player module. Some part can be downloadable, so updatable easily. So we made a special purpose. This IoT player, this is playing the contents from the smart things. This Wi-Fi player, this is playing the contents from the Wi-Fi source. So TV player, let's talk about this TV player. TV player itself is the framework to handle lots of the pipeline for the broadcasting content. So basically, TV, ATV broadcasting playback and external source playback is this module's responsibility. There are applications, and this is the API. And this bit is PPI. This will be provided, and together with this reference implementation. Then, basically, we put most of hardware-dependent module inside GStreamer element. So we recommend you to implement and replace this red box. So source, demux, decoder, and sync. When you want to port into your driver, a chipset, then we recommend you to change this one. It is also possible for you to change this other code as well, but it would be much difficult to maintain and, you know, port. Player is a multimedia framework to play back the kinds of the media content from the file or streaming. So this will be used for OTT playback. There are lots of applications here: native application, web engine, web app, .NET application. .NET also is supported in our platform. So as far as I know, there are more than 100 API in this. So I also recommend you to just follow the reference implementation. And this Rabbit GStreamer element is recommended to replace by your side. This is a picture player. So there are lots of applications to use this kind of function, the My Contents, World, Ambient, Gallery. This kind of application is using this function to show the picture in a high quality. So we can reuse the setting value of the video enhancement in our TV. So we can, when we want to use that function, then we use this picture player function. So we recommend you to reuse this function, re-implement this function. Graphics. Actually, display server composite application window and show the result on screen. First of all, partner need to implement the DRM, which is direct rendering module. So this should be DRM should be implemented in this layer. Then this TDM and TBM itself is Tizen API for based on that DRM. And TDM itself is a kind of abstraction layer for the display server, and TBM is abstraction layer of the buffer management for graphic. When you want to port the OpenGL, then this needs to be ported. Yes. If you want to use the graphic accelerator function, then this part must be implemented. By implementing those kind of functions, the graphic will be working in the Tizen platform. Yep. Summarizing what I described, if you implemented this module, system, AVO, graphic, T-Play, and so on, then you can see the broadcasting and external source working fine. If you implement this MM player, then you can see the multimedia playback working fine. If you implement the other function like the connectivity MM player with trust zone security, then you can see the OTT service. You can see the Netflix and YouTube when you implement all function here. It's a final, I think. So Blue Mountain, this is a kind of test tool for you check whether your PPI implementation is correctly done or not. So we will provide Blue Mountain tool to you, then you can use that. So I already explained you the test case itself is provided per individual module. So with those test tools, with those test material, test cases, and with this test tool, then you can see whether the PPI is properly ported on your platform. This is the shape of the application. Whoa, I've already done? So, as I told you, if you have any question, please go there and give me a question.
First of all, thank you very much for the presentation. And this sounds like a very interesting topic to TV manufacturers. So from a TV manufacturer's standpoint, what would be the benefit of using Tizen instead of like other Linux-based turnkey solutions or Android TV?
Could you say again? I couldn't hear that.
Sorry?
What? Could you repeat?
Yeah, what would be the benefit of using Tizen instead of using other Linux-based turnkey solutions or Android TV?
Good question. At the moment, seeing the market, I don't think that Android has successfully, launched launched their product in TV market. So still, Samsung is #1 in TV business area, as I told you. So from that perspective, we know what is the really necessary for the TV, and most of the function itself is inside our software stack. So those are mostly provided to the either TV vendor. So from that perspective, I think it would be much beneficial. And the other point is, as I told you, as I explained you, we have been running the services around like 10 years. So we got a lot of the services. I just explained you for the representative service today, but we got a lot of the service as well, like payment service, all those kind of infrastructure can be shared together. So that would be the benefit to the other manufacturer.
Thank you. And I have more questions.
Okay.
So do you share App Store with other like certified TVs? Like for example, if you have a reference TV, for example, if you buy this Tizen platform and you manufacture your own TV, then do you get the Tizen App Store as well?
Could you say what is the Tizen App Store? So actually, our plan is to allow all kind of application distribution over our App Store.
Oh, so there's one Tizen App Store and then...
One Tizen App Store. That is our minimum requirement. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, question about the verification tools in Blue Mountains. So if a vendors implement the Tizen reference design, the verification has to go to Blue Mountains, or there's a self-test suites that locally they can test? Because this whole idea of Tizen is pretty broad, right? Include IoTs in the future, and also Bixby's. There's a lot of technology involved in verification.
Because you speak too fast, so I'm not sure whether I could understand correctly. Yeah. My understanding is actually the Blue Mountain is for the verification of the PPI implementation. That's all. Okay, so from the SoC vendor perspective, it's quite required to perform that test. But we are actually, at the moment, I'm not in a position to announce, but we are preparing. So when we are ready to share or announce all our program later, then we will introduce the certification program. At that time, we could introduce all other test process and test material with you. Okay.
Hi. First of all, thank you for the presentation. I'm from LG Electronics.
Okay.
And I have a question. So do you have what kind of license model do you planning to do? Do you planning to apply?
Again, I already explained him. So we are preparing the licensing model. So I just explained in brief how to become the Tizen ready chipset today. So we are preparing, and then when we are ready, I will be in a position to announce in public. We are preparing.
And one more question. You mentioned that the platform, when the platform is changed, the drivers should be updated. And how do you maintain the update? You mentioned that there is tool to check the different version of library to be matched to the common platform.
Ah.
Are there any way to do?
Are you talking about where is it?
Yeah, go back.
Yeah. This
Yes,
one.
right.
This one, right?
Yes. So you mentioned that there is easy detection.
Because as I told you, it's quite simple, I think, because we
Right.
already specify that kind of version in this spec file. So seeing this spec file, we can detect the kind of match or mismatch.
Right. Technically, I think it's good way, but
Okay.
are there any idea or policy to manufacturers? For example, when you update the Tizen from 5 to 6, are these manufacturers should update all the platform all at once, or are there any flexibility?
I think you are asking the policy, right?
Yes, right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we are preparing that.
Okay. Okay.
I understand what you mean. So, but we are preparing the kind of policy now.
Okay. And last one.
Okay.
Do you have any partners currently evaluating with this program?
Yeah, now I'm not in a position to reveal the name of that partner. So,
Yes.
but we are actively working with the partner.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, again, thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
As an app developer, with the App Store and the distribution model that you're looking at, does that mean that if we publish our application to the Tizen store, it will get through to the whole
Yeah,
ecosystem?
that is the intention, right?
Or is there some validation that as a developer we get to control?
Actually, that is main intention to us. So when the content provider pass the certification from the Tizen ecosystem, then it should work to the all other Tizen TV. That is our intention. So, but for that purpose, definitely we need to do more. We need to make a kind of the test environment and so on. But that is our objective.
Okay, thank you.
For the TV Plus service that you
Yep.
shared about, can you show which of the 3 players does that TV Plus service use?
A player.
Yeah.
T player. Wait a moment. T player is using basically the MM player. MM player. Yeah. Sorry. Right, MM player. Right. MM player. Right. Yeah.
Hi, a question adding to the one before, I hope. So if, as an app developer, I don't want my app to be on that other vendors that are not, like, we have a lot to do testing on the diversity of the devices anywhere. So, like, currently we can control when we submit an app to the Tizen, to the seller portal, we can control on which TVs it should be published. Will this be just then one of these publishing platforms that we can select when we submit?
Yeah, good question. At the moment, our system itself is allow the content provider to select the target device, right? That even though it is just a Samsung device, but yeah, right. What you ask is exactly what we can do to configure the target devices for the content providers taste. If they want to launch specific the function app to a specific device, then they can configure. That can be possible. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. I think there's no more question. Okay, thank you very much.